How do you be as authentic as possible when you're on stage? I want to share with you 3 things you can do to bring out your authenticity on video and on stage and on online events. Now, by authenticity, what I mean is your uniqueness. Right now, the world is craving for people to be human instead of this kind of plastic, pretend way of presenting that a lot of people are still using. So there's 3 things. The first one is this: do your best to put down the mask. And so I'll give you an example. A lot of us, we wear a type of mask to protect ourselves, and this is really strong, for example, in corporate world. If you notice in corporate, like there's a way of being, there's a way of speaking, and it's very kind of like red tapey, and it just is a little bit too void of humanness. Now, why is this important? Well, as a speaker, the best way to move a message into the audience is to get the audience to actually feel it. And if you're not feeling it, they're definitely not feeling it. And it's hard to be human and emotional when you've got a mask on. A great example is this. If you look at a news presenter or a police officer speak on television, they are trained to have a professional air of how they communicate. Now, this is very appropriate for the news. It allows them to, for example, talk about anything that's happened without really an emotional attachment to it. It's perfect for that environment. When it comes to speaking about something that is inspiring, where you want to move your audience, that mask is no longer appropriate. So I just want you to try this out. I'm going to start speaking with a little bit more of a professional edge, and I just want you to notice how you feel when I do it. So if I, for example, become a little bit more professional in my stance and in my voice, and I'm communicating with you today, there are 3 major elements to focus on bringing more authenticity into your audience. Now, you may think, okay, well, that was a little bit more professional, which I guess it was, but also, did you notice how it was a little bit more void of me, if that makes sense? I wasn't able to fully express myself. The more you can express yourself, the more you are going to encourage the audience to do the same thing. The more that you're you, the more they're going to vibe off you, the more they're going to get you. The second thing to do is to really start to model other presenters, to get clear on what it is about other speakers and other presenters that you like, that you resonate with, that you connect with, and learn how to bring that out in yourself. So for example, one of my favorite speakers is Sharon Pearson. She's the founder of the Coaching Institute where I work. She's an amazing speaker, and there are parts of her style that I really like. So for example, there's parts of her irreverence, which means her desire to just have fun and be human. When I saw that, I thought, that's really wonderful. I'm going to implement that into my style because that's something that fits really well with me. Now, when you're looking at a speaker, not every element of every speaker is going to fit really well with you. But when you're looking at other speakers and you're studying them, you can say, okay, that bit, I like that bit. I'm going to focus on bringing that part out of me. And the third part is this. Make mistakes. One of the worst things you can do is perpetuate the myth that you're perfect. And a lot of people put this pressure on themselves, and especially as speakers, to be completely perfect, to not have any flaws, to never make any mistakes. Puts a lot of pressure on you as a speaker. And it actually puts a lot of pressure on the audience if they look up to you and they place you on a pedestal. It's actually not what you want. You want them to look at you and say, hey, they're just like me, but they're doing things, and I'm inspired by that. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. Every now and then in a training, I might forget what I'm saying. And then I will just say to the audience, what was I talking about? Can anyone help me out? Thank you so much. That's what I was saying. Great, let's get back onto it. Now, if I do that without freaking out, right? If I make a mistake and show the audience that I'm okay making a mistake, what happens is I teach them through demonstration, you're allowed to make mistakes and you can still achieve an amazing result whilst making mistakes. It's such an important message because so many people have this pressure on themselves. I've trained so many people to become professional speakers, and one of the things that people say is, what happens if I forget where I am when I'm on stage? And I just say, you will forget where you are. It happens to the best of us, especially in the first couple of years. And so you just want to have some really cool ways of managing that you're okay with, where you can communicate to the audience in good humor that it's okay to make a mistake. The opposite is you just embody this stress and pressure, and that comes across to the audience, and it's stressful to the audience. But if you're okay making a mistake, I'll give you another example. I've been on stage in front of hundreds of people and misspelt a very basic word on the whiteboard. And it's a joke. We can have a laugh at it. And I just say to the audience, oh, I can't believe I misspelled that word. They think that's funny. We're a little bit more connected because the closest distance between two people is humor. I haven't stressed out about it. I haven't got anxiety about it. I've been okay with it. And then this is the key, because you can't just get up on stage and continuously make mistakes. You have to know your content, right? You've got to actually be able to give value. But if you're giving value and if you're inspiring and every now and then you make a mistake, it actually helps your presentation to not be completely perfect. Perfection is a lie. And so one of the keys to a great presentation and great authenticity is your humanity and it's your uniqueness.